Nigeria occupies long coastal lines stretching across the west coast to Cameroon, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea. The water boundary of the country covers 350 nautical miles. The Atlantic Ocean flows across 7 southern Nigerian states of Cross River, Bayelsa, Rivers, Delta, Ondo, Lagos, and Akwa Ibom, through which TVC News gained access to the sea.
I want to go home. I'm from Akwa Ibom. In case you don't know, Akwa Ibom, we can enter moto or fly for aero and land for Uyo. You should come with me. I'm missing the love.
Thus is Ibaka Fishing Port in Mbo Local Council of Akwa Ibom State, South Nigeria. Ibaka hosts the finest species of fish, crayfish, shrimps, oysters, crabs, and other aquatic animals. These resources provide food, employment, and revenue to the citizens and the government. Fishermen in the area worked with locally made canoes, outboard engine boats, and sea trawlers. But social amenities that make life meaningful are not available to people in the fishing communities.
This our side, no hospital, no drinking water.
In this community, we lack social facilities like hospitals, schools, and drinking water. There are no cold rooms for fish preservation. We need government presence in this area.
No better thing here.
The government, they are not helping us. Look at the life jackets. Look at the insurance, like when we talk about the insurance. And the fuel matter is not helping us. So the government should come to our aid. Even look at the road that leads to the place. Nobody, even the school, we don't have free education here, except the primary school. No road, no nothing. So we need the assistance of the government to come and assist us.
Going into the sea evokes emotions. We caught these Ghanaian fishermen in their excitement as they moved out of the Ibaka fishing port to the high sea. With the help of a hired boat, TVC News followed them to the sea. We came by the fuel station run by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, but the facility lacked product to dispense at the time. Our boat passed a fishing community called Esukewan. We found that the sea had taken over half of the community's land, leaving the village in dire need of an embankment.
Water has thoroughly encircled our community. If you go inside the village, you will see houses and properties submerged in water. Please help us by informing the government that we need embankment in this community.
As we moved further, the sea got deeper and turned deep blue while throwing violent waves. Then we stopped in the mid-level water belt and monitored some fishermen in action.
We have suffered greatly. Many of us are orphans. We have no one to care for us. We take to fishing to fend for ourselves, but many times we catch nothing to compensate our labor. Oil drilling has killed fishes. We want the government to come and help us.
This stretch of Atlantic water links Nigeria with Cameroon, Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. Thousands of fishermen from Nigeria and other West African countries make their living from this water. Many people believe that the Nigerian government could earn huge foreign exchange from fish and other aquatic animals if the right actions are taken along the coastal lines. While sea-going fishing trawlers draw their nets on bigger and assorted fishes, peasant fishermen do not seem able to catch enough for their survival. The problem is associated with overfishing in the lower water belts.
From time to time, we go to the fishing villages and interact with the fishermen on responsible fishing methods. Responsible fishing method means producing without necessarily jeopardizing the future of the fishery itself. Thus, we prevent juvenile fishing, fishing with obnoxious gear, which capture everything without selecting whether they are juveniles or adult. And we also sensitize them. In fact, that's the main reason why from time to time we help them with those inputs, because they believe that they can, they have to, it's a business and they have to capture whatever comes there to make as much profit as possible.
Crude oil drilling and exploration pose challenges to fishing communities as oil and chemicals have destroyed huge species of fish and other animals. The activities of militants along the Niger Delta creeks increase business risk within these fishing communities.
The Cameroonians don't allow us to fish where we're supposed to fish because crayfish has its own place. It has a place that you can catch it, not any place in the water that you can get crayfish. I don't know our government why they leave that place safe to Cameroonians. The thing worry us alone, we the fishermen. In 2012, we brought some pressmen. We make a protest, peaceful protest. We go to paper. We go to many media ourselves. Those things were made known to the government.
TVC News visited the eastern flank of the waterway where bamboo and raffia made houses serve as drying facilities for fish and crayfish. This old method of preservation depends heavily on firewood as the entire area lacked cold room and other storage facilities.
This crayfish we use firewood to dry it, but it's difficult because we have no machine to dry it. It's only firewood. We dry it. It will take 24 hours before it dry like this. Because of this oil now, this crude oil are removing. So these things scarce now. We don't have as much as usual.
Several times, journalists come here to interview us. After narrating our poor living conditions, we see no improvement. We do not know whether the true situation is ever reported.
TVC News took up some of these issues with officials of Akwa Ibom State government. In separate interviews, two commissioners revealed ambitious plans by the state government to develop the entire stretch of Ibaka and Ibuno shorelines for the comfort of fishermen, traders, and job seekers.
As we speak, we've got all the licenses. All the licenses that we need for a deep sea port has been obtained from the federal government and all the agencies of the federal government, including even the Federal Executive Council. Yes, we've done the final business case, and it was approved by the Federal Executive Council, and the final approval for a deep sea port was issued in favor of that, deep sea port. As we speak, the government of Akwa Ibom State, in conjunction with the Nigerian Port Authority, has already appointed a transaction advisor for the project, and they've also, contracted a designer for the industrial park in Osa City, which is going to abort the deep sea port. So we are ready. Everything, the CFO has already been issued. So we are ready. We are now at the technical stage of planning and then designing, and that's where we are.
In this era of diversification, which is of course staring on our faces, and the need for us to take it seriously. We actually need to face it the way it is. And the best way of doing it is, in line with global practice. And that is all about partnership. Because you cannot partner. If you don't partner, you will not be able to harness enough resources to invest. And also, when we talk about economy, a functioning economy, it has to be private sector driven. And so what government is doing in Akwa Ibom State is to ensure that it creates enabling environments that will attract investors to come and partner with the state government in order to develop our resources. Like you rightly said, we have a lot of resources in the aquatic environment, and the dwindling revenue from oil getting across all over the country is also a major challenge.
The people who are fishing in our waters now are Ghanaians and Togolese. They are all from Ibaka to Ibno to all this. You see that, and they are all illegal immigrants. They come into our water, they fish. Some people come from Eastern Europe to fish in our water. They come, they fish, they go away with it, and nobody is there to challenge them. And the corruption that had drifted into Nigeria had also made our security agencies to look the other way when they get a few things and pad their pockets. And so the local fishermen, what is the response? What's the role of the government? The local government, the state government, and the federal government. For instance, why can't government even provide cold rooms, so that if these guys go get their fishes and they come back, they've sold some and they have some left, they can put it in the cold store. Because every day central bank talks about loan of 250 billion this, and the money is expended. Where is it going to? Where has it gone to? And they say people should set up cooperative, and it's just the same people that set up multiples of cooperatives, share the money amongst themselves. The money stops in Lagos and Abuja, and it does not go to where the money is needed. So if we have people in the maritime sector, who is doing the needs assessment?
We turned to the Nigerian Institute for Oceanography and Marine Research, a federal agency with statutory responsibility to conduct research into the nation's marine endowments.
Maritime resources in Nigeria is enormous. As a matter of fact, the whole world is now going to what we call blue economy. Blue economy means something that is coming out of the sea. So a lot of resources are there in the ocean, and that is why we have a lot of shrimps, a lot of fish, crabs, and even octopus. There are so many fish species in there that at the end of the day, you find out that Nigeria can tap these resources and we can use it for export, both for local and export markets.
Akonde believes that Nigeria has not maximized her maritime resources.
We are the largest producer of catfish, that is farmed catfish. We are the largest producer in Africa. But you cannot export catfish live or fresh out of Nigeria because the consumption in Nigeria is not enough. So government will not allow you to export it. But if you add value to that catfish, and what do we mean by value addition? If you smoke that catfish, then you have added value to it. Then government allows you now to export it to Europe. Because if you export smoked catfish to Europe or to America, then you are trying to satisfy the taste of our own people in diaspora, that when they want to consume smoked fish in their vegetables, the type of smoked fish we produce in Nigeria is not the same type of smoked fish that they produce in Europe. Our smoked fish is what we call hard dried smoked fish. But in Europe, it's called cold smoke. It's virtually in a very more or less still a very fresh state. But in Nigeria, it is hard dried, and that is what the kind of things that our Nigerians and other countries, other West African countries in diaspora would like to have in their vegetables or in their soup.
The institute fabricates these local equipments for drying fish, shrimps and crayfish. Charcoal and solar panels drive the equipment.
Anybody that operates in deep waters, deep sea trawling, is a big time investor. And if you have spent such huge sums of money to go into trawling and you keep losing money, there comes a time that you exit the industry. The trawler owners are facing a lot of challenges. We have sea piracy, so that is lack of security out there in the sea. We have the issue of safety. If a trawler is out there burning, who comes to help? If somebody is seriously injured, do we have watercrafts in form of ambulances that can go there and pick and rescue them? Then you get away from that. And it's tragic, because it will shock you that over 90% of the fish and fisheries products you consume in this country are cheap imports from other countries. So what are we doing? We are helping them to stabilize their own countries. We are helping them to employ their people, because anytime you import anything, mind you, is either they've come here to take the raw material from you, go to their country and add value and ship back to you.
In our deep waters today, you have about 350 vessels working, be it from rig to APSOs to support vessels. And you can guarantee that 25 to 30 out of them are Nigerian owned. Don't you think we have problems? And also, one thing that the government needs to do is like our parastatals, and I mean the maritime parastatals, they need to take them off that whole idea of being a revenue generating agency and make them do what they are set up to do. That is to create capacity, build capacity. But now all they talk about is the money they want to make. It's not about the money. You are not set up to make money. You are set up to create job. Now, one main problem that we have is that we can't even find the crew. And I mean the qualified crew to even run our vessels. That is number one. Aside that, majority of even the so-called local ship owners have vessels that have not worked in our waters in like 2-3 years. I have 3 vessels in my jetty. They've been there for like 2 years, no contract. Meanwhile, you are giving waivers to foreign vessels to come in and do the job that my vessels can do.
The industry has gone from being slightly efficient to inefficient to non-existent. So everything, both the hard and soft institutions, have collapsed. So the sorts of things that the government should be doing, creating the enabling environment for the maritime industry to survive and thrive, is not there. Because if the government understood what it should be doing, which is creating the right policies and creating the right regulations, then businessmen will be attracted to come in. But if the government policy is not in place, then nobody's going to come. The banks will not lend. You talked about finance. It's not a big issue. Any bank that knows that you have a vessel that will be working every day and a tug or barge will cost X naira, the bank will be more than happy to give you if they know that on the register of tugs and on the badges that the appropriate government agency has licensed you to do that type of business. But if there are no rules, if the registrar of ships is sitting in the massa and squashed by all the petty issues and jealousies, then there is no competent national register of ships, which is the basis upon which banks can give loans. So the truth is, every country must decide what business it wants to do, how it wants to do it, how it will allow collaboration with non-nationals. No one is saying that we should not allow nationals or non-nationals to do business together. But there are certain critical areas where Nigerians must, as a matter of priority, have a right of first choice, because it is the Nigerians who then, well, ostensibly, deploy their resources in Nigeria.
Observers of the Nigerian maritime sector say it is being underutilized. They want more government presence in the sector, while efficient policy should drive investments. For now, the sector begs for new thinking if it must reverse its poor contribution of only 2% to the country's GDP. A country with high-level unemployment, currently searching for methods to diversify its economy, could put its vast wasted coastal front to use, creating fishing estates with modern aquatic initiatives. Offshore markets for fish from such ventures could ensure a steady flow of foreign exchange. In all cases, our fishermen and trawler owners must be safe and secured on the waters. A sector that could create job size of 500 million and revenue in excess of $4 billion per year deserves better attention than what it currently receives from the government and its stakeholders.